Hello again. I want to do a quick video, part of the forgiveness series that I decided to undertake. It was kind of put upon me. I felt just a topic I wanted to undertake, and I explained why in the very first one, which is forgiveness and the Lord's Prayer. I go into all my motives for undertaking this topic. That I don't want to preach to people. I really don't feel qualified to be preaching per se, but at the same time I don't, this is a topic that I think about every day, and I've come to realize it's quite a dynamic topic and a major theme in the Bible. Forgiveness, very dynamic, and I just want to address it, some thoughts on it, food for thought, you know. I'm not going to get too scriptural in this. I want to kind of keep it conversational. So at any rate, this one should have been an easy one. It's what I call, not what I call, it's about forgiveness. Do animals need forgiveness? And I thought that would be pretty simple, you know, to cover. And then I thought I'd do a little preliminary work, background work, and read about what the Bible has to say about animals. And very quickly I realized that that is a tremendous subject. Animals are in the book of Genesis, the very first book in the Bible. All throughout the Bible and all the way up to the last book, Revelations, animals are mentioned in many different ways. It starts out kind of mystical with the snake in the Garden of Eden. The snake, the serpent, you know, tempting Eve. Whether you believe that story literally or not, I do. I choose to, just on faith, I do. But that's on faith, and if somebody doesn't, I'm not going to argue with them. I take that one on faith. You know, I've read, how could a snake have talked to Eve and she would not have thought it strange? Well, God created Adam and Eve, you know, created them. I gather that they did not have a childhood or parents. They're in the unfallen state of the world. Maybe animals talked, communicated. Maybe they were only a couple of days old and pretty innocent about the ways of the world. I also take the snake to represent the serpent, figuratively to represent the devil and his efforts to try to undermine God's work, which was his creation here on earth, to undermine it. So then it goes all through the Old Testament, all through the New Testament. There's mentions of animals, figuratively animals, you know, that they ate, livestock, animals in the manger, lions that they were afraid of. I've read that in the old biblical days, Israel used to be more like almost like a jungle. It had a lot of trees and a lot of flowers, and wasn't stripped down like it is today. And a lot of other places that people have lived in for a long time have changed because of, you know, they've hunted and, you know, taken the trees down over thousands of years. And so who knows? And you've got the Holy Spirit is represented by a dove in the New Testament. And in the book of Revelations, you've got the horsemen, and you've got other animal-like creatures that are representative of God's principalities that work for God. I'm not sure how you would categorize them, but they're messengers, almost like angelic beings, but an animal. So to try to explain what the Bible says about animals would be a very huge undertaking. So I want to narrow it down. Do animals need forgiveness? And even then, I have to ask, forgiveness from whom? Do they need, I mean, like ourselves, we need forgiveness from others? Do animals need forgiveness from other animals? Do animals need forgiveness from God? And do animals need to forgive themselves? You know, there's many different facets to forgiveness. So I'm just going to address those three, right? And just my take on it, that's all. Do they need forgiveness from God? Animals, the animal kingdom. God created animals. Trust me, if you read the Bible through and study animals in the Bible, you will come to know that God cares very much for the natural world. You know, He gave us dominion, charge over the animal kingdom. That's in Genesis. The first few books in Genesis lays that out. That does not mean He does not care about animals. He does very much. And Christ even said that on the parable about the sparrows and how much God cares about them. They don't worry about what they eat. God takes care of the animals, makes sure they're fed, you know, up to His plan, and He will us too, because He cares for us very much. But He does care about the animal kingdom, and that is a big picture. He cares about the earth. So do animals need forgiveness from God? I say no, because as far as I can tell, God never gave them any, never charged them with any commands or, you know, code of conduct, or I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. But as far as I can tell, no, they're innocent. We don't know. Maybe animals have a secret belief. You know, we don't communicate with the animals, do we? So we really don't know the secret world of animals. They may have their own belief in God. They may have their own code in the animal kingdom. We don't know. But from what I could tell, God did not morally charge the animals with any set of rules, so they can't sin like we can. We sin, and because we're different from the animals. And that happened in the book of Genesis when we attained the gift of knowledge between right and wrong. Something that really we weren't supposed to have. It was not in our order. And I'm going to cover that more. I hope to cover that more in a future video. Actually, it's going to be one of my final videos about some conclusions that I came to. So no, I don't believe they need forgiveness from God, animals. Even like if a tiger kills somebody's baby, or somebody's dog just suddenly freaks out and kills somebody, you know, and nobody can figure out why they did it. It may have been wrong and terrible, but I don't believe the animal sinned. I don't think animals can sin. Of course, I could be wrong. Maybe they have their own code with God. That's my dog behind me if you're thumping and all that. Carrying on. All right, so do animals need forgiveness from other animals? Animals attack other animals all the time, usually for a reason, to eat or to protect their own home. However, sometimes animals are a little different. I've had a few cats in my life. I'm sure you have. And I've observed cats seem to like to torment their victims. Cats seem to have a kind of a psychic and psychotic side to them. And I would like to read your comments on that. I've had cats off and on in my life, and I have noticed this about cats seem to like to, they've got a psychotic side to them. And what's up, buddy? One of these days I'm going to do a video just on my dog. I got to give him a snack when I'm doing these videos. Excuse me. He feels left out, I think. I'll be right back. I got to bribe him to keep it down. Do animals need forgiveness from other animals? So I just talked about cats, all right, that I have observed sometimes what I thought seemed like kind of a psychotic streak in cats. Is that just the way God designed them? I don't know. Does that make them evil? I I don't know, that's kind of open for debate. Now, my dog's chowing down behind me. Don't mind the doggy behind the curtain. He does not require any forgiveness. He's just being himself. Now, chimpanzees, all right? Supposedly our closest neighbor in the evolution chain, whatever, our phylum, animal kingdom. I saw something, and I've read this story, and I'm going to post a link on the description about the chimpanzee wars in Africa, and they really seem to, they seem quite, unfortunately, human-like in their ability to wage war amongst themselves at times. So it really almost begs to question whether maybe animals do sometimes need to forgive one another. And this video link is to this young Irish guy. He's got a really dark sense of humor, but I like it. And he draws his pictures, which I hope to do with this, but I never did. And he has a way of spinning a story, but I'm familiar with the story he's telling, and it is what I read. And if you got the time, I recommend read or watch the video in the link on chimpanzee wars and apply that. Maybe sometimes animals do need to forgive each other. Maybe they cross the line or something. I don't know. I generally tend to think that no, animals do not need to forgive one another, but there are cases like chimpanzee wars, and I don't know. Finally, do animals need to forgive themselves? I don't know that either, but I would tend to say no, they don't. Animals act upon instinct, and that's it. Instinct, sometimes emotion. I don't know, do they act on emotion? If they attack out of fear, I guess that's more instinct. Animals, honestly, with a few exceptions, like I mentioned, cats can sometimes come off as psychotic to me. I've seen the way they torment some of their things, little animals they catch. They really seem to draw it out. And they're never merciful. They never set them free. Sometimes they inadvertently set them free, but they don't intentionally set. They just toy with them. The cats I've had and pretended to set these animals free just so they could catch them again over and over before they finally kill them. That's what I've seen with some cats. And the chimpanzees, watch that link, the Chimpanzee Wars. It's entertaining, darkly funny, but it also can raise some eyebrows about the nature of these animals. Do they actually commit sins amongst each other? And in this one, that video, it almost seems like they do. But I'm going to generally say, for the purpose of this topic, forgiveness in the animal kingdom, that animals act on instinct, and if somebody's dog all of a sudden kills a little kid, that tragically happens. I think the dog did that on instinct. I think it misinterpreted something, or something went wrong with the dog. I don't think it would be a premeditated kind of evil thing from a dog, unless it was possessed or something. But I think they act on instinct, and sometimes when they turn on their fellow masters, humans, it's out of misinterpreted signals of some sort. And if the dog kills somebody, do they need forgiveness from people? I guess that's the other one. Do animals need forgiveness from us? I already covered that. I said I don't think they do. If a dog was to kill a child, and it would be understandable that the parents would have the dog destroyed, killed, just say it out, they'd have the dog killed. I probably would. Would it be done out of anger? No. There wouldn't be any anger in it. I would probably be because I would be afraid that maybe the dog would do this again, that there's something going on with the dog that's not good. And also, just to have the dog around would be a reminder of the loss of my child. Or let's say the dog turned on me and mangled me. Let's say I had a dog that I took care of and I raised since it was a puppy, and all of a sudden it turned on me and tore me up. I mean, really tore me up. There's a chance I might have the dog put down. Would it be out of anger? I don't think there would be any anger in it. And a lot of people might not have the dog put down, but if it tore me up pretty good, where I need a lot of stitches and some time to recover, and maybe I don't recover, a dog can do a number on a person. I might have it put down just out of principle, and that may be a bad mark on me, but I'm just telling you the truth. It's kind of an unwritten rule. We like to think of our pets as being free. They're not free. Your dog isn't free. It's got rules. They can't, if it runs off, it's not free. It's got to live in your house or chained up or in your yard. If it runs away, then it's going to be chained up and confined so it doesn't run away again. If it bites somebody or mangles somebody, it's going to suffer a consequence for that, isn't it? I've always said to my dog, just kind of jokingly, puppy, you have one right. I'm just joking. You have the right to bite. But there's a lot of responsibility with that right, so you better think about it before you use it. And because if a dog bites you or bites somebody else, what are you going to do about it, My dog's bit me twice, but, well, no, once. He was in a fight with another dog, and I got between them, so I didn't hold it against him for that. It's just kind of a moment of crime of passion. So, do animals need forgiveness? Forgiveness from God? As far as I can tell, no. Definitely nothing in the Bible that would make it sound that way, except perhaps the serpent in the Garden of Eden. But I think that was kind of also to represent Satan trying to bring down God's kingdom, to do some harm to God's kingdom. Because mankind, God created the heavens, the earth, the Garden of Eden, and finally the last he created man, and he created woman in his own image. And that's just me talking, I don't know. But I like to think that God created the earth with Adam and Eve and all the animals and all the beautiful nature here. It was kind of like a theme park that he liked to go to unwind, to enjoy, because he said he in those days before the fall of man, he used to walk among us, and then, well, that's a whole different topic. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't believe animals need forgiveness from God, except one case, the serpent, but that was, I think, an allegory for Satan. But that's open to debate. Do animals need forgiveness from us? I don't personally think they do. Even in extreme cases where they've done something bad, I don't think they operate on the level that they need forgiveness. They may need to be addressed, corrected, dealt with, but forgiven? No. Do animals need to forgive each other at times? I gotta say no. The only possible exceptions I recap would be cats that seem to act psychotic at time and torment their catch. And possibly, if you watch this video on the Chimpanzee Wars, you tell me. Do animals need to forgive themselves? I don't see that happening, honestly, at all. I don't know. So I don't think I really answered any questions on this talk, but I did talk about animals and forgiveness. And I didn't claim to have any answers on any of this. So that's all I got for this one. Not really that deep of a topic, but I came up with a list of 17 or 18 different topics on the topic of forgiveness. And I'll probably come up with some more, because just if nothing else, to make a point of what a dynamic subject forgiveness is, and an aspect in our life here and now and in the heavens, in our afterlife. It's a pretty big topic. So that's all. I just want to bring it all up for discussion. So there you have animals and forgiveness. Your comments are always welcome, and I do read them all, and sometimes it takes me a while to get back, but right now I'm a working animal. I work hard and long hours. So that's it. Have a good day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Let me know what you think, and if you feel so inclined. Take care. I came back, put the video together, and I realized that I forgot to say a couple of things, cover a couple of things in the video that I thought I wanted to cover. Do animals need to forgive us, humans? And I think we all know the answer to that is yes. Do they feel the need? I mean, do they need to forgive us? Yes, people do horrible things to animals, intentionally and unintentionally, and that's another big subject. What we do to the earth, just all kinds of things. Yes, animals need to forgive us. Do they feel the need to forgive us? It does not appear so. Have you ever known an animal to bear a grudge? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I guess dogs, I'm more familiar with dogs. God, they don't bear grudges at all. A dog, to me, is, oh, they all have their gifts, you know, they all have their gifts, all the animals, and we have our gifts too. But a dog seems to be the very image of unconditional love. At least a good dog. I'm not talking, there are mean dogs out there. I want to say this also. Animals all have their own character, their own personality. They're not all the same, generic. And you know this. I just want to point that out. Each dog has its own character. Some dogs are more apt to bite somebody than other dogs. I can't see my dog ever hurting anybody. He's a real sweetheart. But then there are dogs that I call the biting kind of dogs that would bite and wouldn't think twice about it. So you know what I'm saying. Not all animals are the same. And it's probably safe to assume that's the same way in the animal kingdom. We just observe animals that are domesticated, but animals in the animal kingdom that we don't observe every day at all, it would be vain to think, probably incorrect to think, that they don't also have their own personalities. So it's a pretty big subject. How far do you want to open it up? Do animals need to forgive us? Yeah, yes they do, but they never seem to hold it against us. They just take it. And I can tell you that I feel I owe a huge debt to the animal kingdom. To this day, when I was a young teenager with a BB gun and a rifle, and I used to hunt just for the sake of hunting. I killed birds and small game just for the sake of hunting, just as targets. And till God finally put it on me around age 14 or 15, that what I was doing was wrong. And I repented instantly that very day. And I did a story on that. It's called Mr. Kincaid, The Death of the Great White Hunter. It's all about when all of a sudden God put it on me to stop killing these animals just as targets for my rifle, or for me to stalk, you know, in the woods, that I would do as a teenager and growing up in the country. I'd go out with my gun and shoot whatever moved, basically. Birds, rabbits. And then I stopped, and I never even hunted. I don't hunt. I'm not a vegetarian to say, but I just said I'm never going to kill an animal again unless I really have to. And I haven't that I know of. I put a couple animals down once, a mercy thing. Not mine, just some wounded animals. It wasn't easy to do, but so that needed to be done. But I wanted to cover that about how animals, yeah, they need to forgive us people, but they don't seem to feel that need. And why is that? Why is that? I mean, there probably are animals that would bear a grudge. So I really don't know. I'm just familiar with dogs and cats, you know, and maybe horses and farm animals, you know, birds. But there are probably animals in the animal kingdom that if you cross them, they're going to remember you. From what I understand, there are actually maybe some tigers and stuff, or bears, or you know, if I killed a tiger's cub, I think that they might remember me and stalk me, you know. So it's a pretty broad subject, animals and forgiveness. Again, I don't think I answered anything with this video. I just put some food out there for thought. Or no, thought for food. It's been a long day. I've worked all day after midnight. Yes, thought for food, food for thought, whatever. I don't think I've answered anything. How can I claim to know the answers to questions like that? We cannot communicate. We can't talk to animals. And they don't talk to us. They communicate, you know, they can communicate with their emotions and things, sure. And telltale signs, I know when my dog wants something to eat, my dog has learned to communicate with me, you know. Just on, you know what I'm saying, instinct, he needs to go out, or he's feeling frightened or something, or he's trying to get my attention. But animals, there's no Dr. Doolittle that I know of that actually can talk to the animals. If there was, well then I'd be able to maybe give you some better answers. But we share this life in this world with the animal kingdom that we're part of. So when I'm doing video series on forgiveness, I thought it wouldn't be complete if I didn't talk about animals and how they factor in to the whole realm of forgiveness, forgiving us forgiving them, God and everything. It's such a dynamic, forgiveness as a subject is such a dynamic topic if you really think about it. It's immense. It's almost as big as love itself, almost. I've said that before. I think the two kind of go together, separate but together. Oh. Love and hate, forgiveness, unforgiveness, the complexities that make up our existence here, and the animals as well. And presumably the afterlife. But that'll give you some things to think about. All right, that's it. I'll get this video done so I can get it out there. Take care.